Why are American roads wide enough to land a plane, but British roads are so tight you have to fold your mirrors in just to let the binman past? Why do Brits flow through roundabouts like it's second nature, while Americans treat them like they're dodging red shells? And how did we end up in a world where American cars are built like tanks, ready for a zombie apocalypse, while UK cars just look like they're prizes from a vending machine? But it's way deeper than just left versus right. This video will break down exactly how roads, car design, fuel prices, driving tests, and even cultural perspectives shape two totally different worlds. Which country got it right and which one's safer? Stick around because some of these differences will seriously blow your mind, especially when you hear what Brits have to do just to pass their driving test and how much it costs to insure your first car. I'm Ethan, this is Next Space. Let's dive in. Number 1. Old roads versus new planned roads. British roads don't make sense. They bend, curve, double back on themselves. Feels like someone spilled spaghetti on a map and said, yeah, that'll do. But they weren't planned at all. Most UK roads started as walking paths, horse routes, or Roman trade roads. But what if I told you some of these roads are older than America itself? The US is different. A lot of the cities were built in the 1800s or later, so they had the chance to plan everything. Thomas Jefferson literally said,
"Let's make cities into neat little grids."
So they did. That's why you get roads like 5th Avenue, 12th Street, Main Street, East Main Street, and then the same layout again 3 towns over. It's super practical, sure. When you've got all that land, grids make sense, so why not? In the UK, we mostly built on what was already there. Even if that means there's a castle in the way, we'd bend the road around and move on. 2. Roundabouts versus stop signs. Roundabouts are everywhere in the UK, over 25,000 of them. We even have double roundabouts, turbo roundabouts, mini roundabouts. There's one in Swindon called the Magic Roundabout, and it looks like something out of a Mr. Beast thumbnail. I'm not convinced it's legal, but roundabouts are actually good. They keep traffic flowing. They reduce crashes. Once you know how to use them, they work, even in Swindon. In the US though, roundabouts are rare. About 8,000 across the whole country. Instead, you've got stop signs, 4-way stops, 2-way stops. Sometimes there's no one around for miles, but that stop sign is still getting respected like it's the queen. Stop if nobody's there, then wait, then maybe go. It looks like a standoff at first. Everyone rolls up, everyone stops. And for a split second, it's dead silent. But then it just works. Just a bunch of people kind of trusting each other to figure it out. And weirdly, they usually do. One thing that works incredibly well is turning right on red. It's genius, really. Keeping traffic moving safely and smoothly. Honestly, this is something I wish we did in the UK too, but turning left, of course. What do you think works better? Roundabouts or stop signs? Comment down below. 3. Big roads, big cars. Let's talk about size. Did roads get wider because cars got bigger? Or did the cars get bigger because the roads were wide enough to begin with? A bit of both. In the US, they had the land. They built big roads, big lanes, big parking spaces, big portion sizes, and naturally, they started building big cars. Pickup trucks, SUVs, muscle cars. The Ford F450 Super Duty is basically a house with wheels. And because petrol is cheap in the States, fuel economy didn't matter too much. So why not go big with the engines too? In the UK, we didn't have the room. The roads came first, narrow, twisty, left over from horse carts. So we built smaller cars. Just look at the Mini, the Morris Minor, or the Peel P50. Try taking a Dodge Ram through a village in Cornwall. You'll need a spotter, a shovel, and an apology letter for the hedges. Oh, and some of these are a national speed limit, which means you could have a car flying at 60 miles an hour down these narrow roads. 4. Diesel versus petrol. For years, the UK loved diesel. It was cheaper, more efficient, and you got more miles per gallon. It just made sense for long commutes and motorway driving. And then came the scandal that nuked diesel's reputation overnight. Dieselgate, which happened in 2015.
Today, Volkswagen admitted that it rigged 11 million cars to defraud pollution tests. The U.S. Justice Department is looking into criminal charges.
Our company was dishonest.
Volkswagen, along with a few other manufacturers, got caught fitting their diesel cars with a software that cheated emission tests. Basically, the car could tell when it was being tested in a lab and dial down the emissions. But on the road, it was a different story. Nitrogen oxide levels were way higher in some cases, over 40 times the legal limit. The scandal broke out in the US, but it hit Europe the hardest. Tax incentives, better fuel economy, lower carbon dioxide. Diesel was seen as the smart choice. After the scandal, public trust tanked. People started ditching diesel. Governments began cracking down too. Cities introduced low emission zones, new taxes on diesel cars, and stricter real-world testing. Diesel car sales dropped fast. In 2011, diesel made up to 50% of new car sales. Recently, it's fallen below 20%, and it keeps dropping. Now, most manufacturers are shifting their focus to hybrids, EVs, and petrol again. Diesel isn't dead, but it's definitely not the golden child anymore. In the US, diesel never really took off for regular drivers. Petrol's always been cheaper thanks to lower taxes and domestic production. So saving a few miles per gallon with diesel didn't really matter. 5. Getting your license. Passing your driver's test in the UK is no joke. There's a theory test that covers everything from stopping distances to obscure road signs no one's actually ever seen. Then you've got the hazard perception bit, where you click on screen for hazards and try to guess what the computer thinks is too early or too late. Then you take the practical exam. It's about 40 minutes behind the wheel where you've got to prove that you can do everything. Deal with traffic, follow sat-nav instructions, reverse into a bay, emergency stop, all while remembering to check every mirror and signal like your life depends on it. And the examiners are sharp. They don't miss much, except for the guy who failed me on my first driver's test. But let's save that story for another time. Let me know if you had any driving test disasters in the comments below. The national pass rate hovers around 48%, and in some areas it dips below 30%. People fail for signaling too late, others fail for being too cautious at junction. It's brutal. In the US, it's a different vibe entirely. The rules change depending on the state, but most of the time, the process is quicker, simpler, and way less strict. The written test is pretty basic, and the driving part might just be a loop around a few blocks with a stop sign and a 3-point turn. Some states don't even make you parallel park. In California, for example, the whole test can take as little as 10 minutes. I'm not sure if it's just laziness. I think it's cultural. Driving is baked into daily life. In rural areas, you need a car to function. People start driving at 16. It's normal. In the UK, it's more like something you earn. You train hard for it. You pay hundreds in lessons. And when you finally pass, it feels like a proper achievement. Fail once, try again. Maybe twice, maybe 3 times. You get the idea. Passing your test in the UK is no joke. 6. Speed limits and cameras. In the UK, we love a speed camera. They're everywhere. You've got fixed ones, average speed ones, mobile cameras, and vans parked just over a hill. Drive even a few miles an hour over the limit, and chances are you'll get a letter through the door a week later. A lovely little envelope from the DVLA with a fine and 3 points on your license. No ceremony, no warning, just cold bureaucratic judgment. And they work. The UK has over 7,000 active speed cameras, and a single one can catch tens of thousands of drivers a year. In London, some cameras have pulled in over 1 million in fines annually. Over in the US, speed limits vary massively. One state might be 55, the next one could be 75. But what's more interesting is the culture around enforcement. People go over the limit all the time, and it's kind of expected. Going 10 or even 15 miles an hour over on a highway, pretty normal in a lot of places. Unless you're doing something seriously dumb and weaving through traffic like you're in Fast and Furious, you'll probably be left alone. In some states like Texas or Montana, there are stretches of roads so open and empty, you can drive for hours without seeing another car, let alone a camera. And speed cameras, nowhere near as common. Only 19 US states even allow automated enforcement. In many places, they've been banned completely, either for legal reasons or because locals kicked off about it. In the US, road signs are pretty straightforward and very wordy. You've got big, bold instructions like stop, yield, no parking, speed limit 65, written out fully, usually in capital letters, just in case someone missed the vibe. It's clear, direct, and honestly, kind of loud. In the UK, it's a different game. Most signs are just symbols, triangles, circles, rectangles with little stick figures and arrows. You get the idea. You'll see signs with tractors, horses, bikes, kids, old people walking with sticks, sometimes all on the same board. It looks less like a road warning and more like a poster for a countryside soap opera. Here's a test. What do you think this road sign means? Drop it in the comments and I'll pick someone who gets it right and send you an Amazon gift card. But there's a reason behind the chaos, and it actually makes a lot of sense. Let me explain. The UK follows the Vienna Convention on road signs and signals, along with most of Europe. The whole idea is to make road signs instantly recognizable and language independent. So if you're driving through France, Belgium, or in the UK, the shape and the color of the sign should tell you exactly what it means, even if you don't speak the language. Triangles mean warning. Circles usually mean orders, like speed limits. Rectangles give you information. Red means prohibited, usually like a no entry sign. Blue often means instruction. In the US, it's all in English because, well, it's one country, one language, most of the time. And most people are driving within their own state. So the focus is on written instructions. It works until you pull up to a US junction with 6 different signs stacked on top of each other. Turn times, no left after 4 p.m, one way but only on Tuesdays, tow away zone, and suddenly you're not driving, you're trying to solve a logic puzzle. Meanwhile, in the UK, you might not get the exact words, but the shape and the color will at least suggest what kind of trouble you're in. 8. Lane discipline and turn signals. Lane discipline in the UK is one of those things we all know, but barely anyone follows. You're supposed to stay in the left lane unless you're overtaking. Then you're meant to move back over. That's the rule. It's literally in the highway code. Rule 264 if you want to look it up. But just take a drive on any major motorway and you'll see half of the country has fully committed to the middle lane lifestyle. They're not overtaking, they're not moving. They've just claimed it like it's theirs now. And the right lane, that's got its own drama. It's usually got a BMW going 90, an Audi tailgating that BMW, and a poor Renault Clio caught in the middle, panicking because they were just trying to overtake a tractor 5 miles ago. The thing is, this behavior is the problem. Hogging the middle or the outside lane actually slows traffic down and creates unnecessary overtaking, which leads to more accidents. The UK even made it a finable offense, £100 on the spot if you're caught middle lane hogging. Not that it's enforced that much. Over in the US, lane discipline is sort of optional. There's no strict rule about keep right unless overtaking in most states. People just pick a lane, vibe there for 200 miles, and then switch lanes when it feels right. Undertaking, overtaking, floating between lanes, it's all fair game. Highways are wider, often 4, 6, sometimes even 8 lanes across. It's not always chaos. Weirdly, it works, especially in places where traffic flows at consistent speeds and people are used to it. And indicators. In the UK, I'd say most people use them. Well, except for some BMW drivers. After all, the indicators are an optional extra on these. That's a joke, if you didn't get that. In the US, they're not much better. You'll often see someone turn and then indicate, like a late plot twist. Insurance. In the UK, you've got this thing called a no claims bonus. It's basically that if you go a whole year without crashing, they knock a few pounds off your premium the next year. It sounds great until you realize that 5 years of safe driving might just get you about £100 off a policy that's still somehow £1,800 a year. Take this for example. The average price of a first-time driver will pay about £1,493.08. In some cases, I've seen drivers be quoted up to £6,000 a year for just a regular car. In the US, car insurance tends to be cheaper overall, especially outside big cities. And you're far more likely to bundle it in with home, pet, phone, or whatever else your insurer can upsell you. So yeah, from tires to tickets to toll roads, the differences never stop. And speaking of insurance, here's something a lot of people don't know. In the UK, some insurers will actually give you a discount if you've got a dash cam. Not just any dash cams. They usually want something with GPS, G-sensor data, and clear footage that can prove exactly what happened in a crash. And that's why I choose Nextbase. These cameras record in high resolution, track your speed, your location, and automatically save the footage in case something goes wrong. which can be used as evidence if you're ever in a dispute. And yeah, in some cases, having one can lower your insurance premium. So if you've got a car, a no claims bonus you're trying to protect, and you actually want your side of the story recorded, you probably want one of these on your windshield. So who got it right? Honestly, neither one got it perfectly right. The UK built roads for horses and carriages, then tried to wedge cars into them like a last-minute DIY project. The US built wide, open roads for cars, and then made the cars so massive that they started spilling out of their own lanes. Both countries did what made sense at the time. Different history, different geography, different driving culture. It's not about who's better. It's about how wildly different the solutions were to the same problem. But one thing that we can probably all agree on, middle lane hoggers are the worst. If you've driven in both places, I want to hear your stories. What caught you off guard the most? The road signs, the driving test, the weird rules? Let me know in the comments. And hit like if you learned something new. And if you want more videos like this, you know what to do. For some reason, YouTube thinks you might like this video right here, so maybe check that out.